Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me an honor to bring up this young man who's been a mentor to so many people, health-wise, spiritual-wise, community-wise, ACN-wise, business-wise, and just on point. And we always want to tell you to hold all leaders up, not just him, but all leaders up in prayer. And I thank you for his leadership. And I thank you that he just takes time to get on this call and just humble us and also give us some knowledge, some brain food, right, David Enlow, to help us expand not only our business, but expand our mind into where we need to go. In other words, help us get there, period. So without further ado, can we give a warm welcome none other than Dr. Nelson?
And I could talk about Mr. Al Thomas till the sun comes home, which will be like never, and never miss a beat with an adjective of how many great things to say about this man, of who he is for each one of you. I'm like, really. It's just, and to me, as a brother, as a friend, as a business partner, as a colleague, and I mean, he's just amazing to hold this space. Please add thumbs, hearts, everything for him in this space so that he knows that you guys love him because um, in the tenure of time, I can tell you, he does so much for you guys. I question sometimes how much, if I have what it takes sometimes to be able to hold so much space for so many people, genuinely and unconditionally for people without getting a dollar or a return on his efforts. For many of you, you aren't even in his organization, but he holds the space. And that just goes to tell you the testament of who he is and who you have to become in order to become great. Does that make sense to you guys? Let me just nod your head if you're with me. The thing that I want to talk about more than anything, many of the people on my squad know that I have relaunched over the last week and a half and setting things up for, I call it an avalanche. And when you want to create an avalanche in your business, and you can write this down, I'm going to talk slow so that I can get it out. The problem with business, our industry, and people is that too many people have the Moses syndrome. And in the Moses syndrome, people are trying to do it. And I dislike, I don't even like the word hate is so strong. I talk on a personal basis. I prefer you to say F you to me than I hate you. That's a very strong, strong word to hate someone. But, or not, or something, right? I truly dislike in a context of understanding this business, the mentality that people take on to be able to succeed. The Moses syndrome, to take that on and do everything yourself, is a disease. There's no way I would have survived the season of 2024. And I know everybody has been going through hell in one way or another because the devil's been running with his panties off. So nobody would have survived the year 2024. I know I wouldn't have, with a Moses syndrome, attempting to do everything by yourself. And those that don't understand Moses' conversation of being the accountant, being the doctor, being the attorney, being everything, and then wanting to complain. And the human side is then we want to complain about doing everything, but it was a choice. To do everything is a choice. And what people miss on being able to succeed, I don't care if you're talking about Jordan, who has 5, 6, 7 rings, whatever, Wilt Chamberlain, who has 12, or Arthur Ashe in Wimbledon, or Serena, or Oprah, or anybody that you can think of that is great. They got a squad. They got a squad. And I can truly tell you, in this last season, my squad has showed up for me in emergency after emergency after emergency, the way I have for the last 20 years for people. I'm not talking about in the business. I'm talking about period. That's just who I am. But I'm going to tell you the reason why people show up for me, because I showed up for them. So you need to write down, I need to be the example that people need to follow. I need to be the example. I can honestly tell you, I have never needed more angels here on earth than I did in 2024, as early as this past week, and they shown up. But I can also tell you, I'm not a needy person, that I've gone for 10, 15, 20 years giving my soul to people unconditionally, wherever I needed to be, however I needed to be there. And I didn't give it with, listen, Linda, listen. I didn't give it with the expectation of something in return. I didn't sow a seed of $1. And mine was more than $1. I've done comma after comma after comma for people that don't even exist in my life anymore. I haven't seen them, you know, made promises. But, my father made me understand something about time, energy, and money. When you give it, don't give it with expecting it back. If they give it back on time or out of time, that's someone who's trying. That's someone who's putting forth effort. That's someone who, you hold on to that branch, you hold on to that root because they're going to make it right. The ones that just disappear, they 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 saved you. You didn't lose anything. They saved you a whole lot. I hope somebody's getting this. I'm only going to use money as an example, but I'm talking so much more than money. I'm talking time, energy, and space. But if you gave 5 hours to somebody and then they disappeared on you, you went and picked them up off the freeway in the middle of the night, you gave them $5,000. They just saved you 50,000 if you don't see them anymore. They just saved you, a season of pain because that's who they are. They were never coming back in the first place. They were just takers in the first place. So you got to figure out when you're talking about this, first, who are you? Are you that person who gives? Are you that person who sows seed? Because when you sow seed, time, energy, and money, it comes back in places you'll never expect it through people who you never expect. Is this making sense? You guys with me on this so far? So many people get into a resentment mode. I give and I give and I give, and I'm there and I'm there and I'm there. And then there's nobody there for me. But are you really there for them? Are you really there for other people? Did you do what you did because you expected something in return from the people that you gave to? Because what I have was never mine. Everything that I've ever acquired in life was on loan. So it's never mine to have. No matter who I've helped in my life, I've looked at it 1,000 ways on Sunday. I've had conversations with God about this over and over again, about money that I've given, time that I've given, energy that I've given, my life that I've given, my soul that I've given. And I'm like, is this what I'm supposed to do? And everybody looking at me crazy, and everybody got an opinion about what I'm doing. First of all, why in the hell does anybody have an opinion with what I'm doing with my time, money, and energy? But I'm like, where in the hell do you have the nerve? And then I start questioning myself, like, because when there's a drought and you almost feel alone in some of your journeys, which then give you this concept of being in a stuck position because it's like, well, I've done all this. Well, I've learned to take it on like this. When things don't come back to me the way they're supposed to, it's not that I gave to the wrong people. I was the wrong person to choose who to give to. That's going to sink in for somebody when this call ends. It's not that you can't plant seed on thorny ground. That's just called a stupid act. Not that you're stupid, but you keep sowing seed. When you build on a person and that person goes away, that was the wrong person. In that, we're all going to make mistakes and choose the wrong person, wrong things, make some bad decisions. But in that comes, that's where the wisdom comes if you're paying attention. If you keep doing it, now that's just a stupid act. You're supposed to be learning who to invest your time in, who to invest your money in, who's going to be held accountable, who's going to be there for you when you need them in whatever capacity. I'm going somewhere with this. Hope you guys are with me this morning. I had to my team. I had a call this week. I had one with Mr. Aaron Bird. I had one with Mrs. Jocelyn Driscoll. I'm excited about what we have on our fingertips on. When you're building something like we're building here, you have to believe in one of two things. I'm going to say even three things. One of three things, and you can write them down. Either number one, you have to believe in yourself. I'd say that's where it starts, but it doesn't have to start there. So I'm giving you three. You have to believe in yourself, but it doesn't have to start there. Number two, you have to believe in someone else. It can start there. I believe in Mr. Al Thomas. That's why I'm on this call. I believe in each one of you. That's why I'm on this call. Please believe I do not want to be on this call. I love Mr. Al Thomas. I love every one of you. The way I'm feeling, I've gotten probably on an average, I promise you on God's name, over the last 3 weeks, I've gotten a maximum of 3 hours of sleep a night. No, I don't want any calls after this about that's not healthy. You need to self-care, take care of yourself. You don't live the life that I live. You don't have the challenges I have, and you don't know what I'm overcoming. And it's okay. And I don't look for pity or empathy because everything that I did, everything that I am are decisions that I make. Remember I said in the beginning of this part it's like, if it's good, I blame everyone around me. If it's challenging, I blame the person in the mirror. And there's not a hole I haven't been able to get out of with God's help. So I'm good. But I share that to say leaders do what they have to do, not what they want to do. You might want to write that down. Leaders do what they have to do, not what they want to do. The number one law that I'm teaching my family, I'm teaching 10 principles. There's only one I want to stick for the month of December as I re-engage my team and re-engage leaders that are around me. I'm going to teach 10. I don't mind sharing the first one with you because I'm going to repeat it over and over again until I go and I say, hey, you know what? When I go, hey, T, or if I go Terry, if I go Christina, whoever I go to, go to Miguel. What's the number one law? And the only thing they better come out of their mouth is get yourself out of the way. Repetition is the mother of learning. So I'm going to say it over and over and over again so they don't have to stab somebody in the year 2024. I have 9 more after that, but I want them to know them almost like every word that was said in the beginning, God created like in Genesis. I want them to know it like the first sentence. Biblical. You want to help your family? Get yourself out of the way. You want to help yourself? Get yourself out of the way. You want to make money? Get yourself out of the way. You want to build something amazing? Get yourself out of the way. Figure out how to get yourself out of the way. Why don't you think Mr. Al Thomas is doing all these calls? He's getting himself out of the way. Why do you think that I had a call last night, with Megan and my team in regards to the healthcare, getting myself out of the way? Why do you think that he had Mr. Ray Propazano get himself out of the way? Why do you think I had Mrs. Jocelyn Driscoll do a call, getting myself out of the way? Why do you think I had Miss Aaron Bird, who I trained personally and had a hand in not making him because you were already giant? It's all I did was chisel away so people could see him. Get yourself out of the way. Am I making sense? Everybody with me on this so far? When I had them on the call, one of the things I had to do in premising the call with Mr. Bird this week, and I'm going to say this for future reference because, again, some of you just plugging in, some of you don't know any better. We live in a different world. And when we live in a different world, what do I mean by that? Social media, The list is long. Let's just deal with Zoom. We're all on this thing called Zoom. I'm going to talk because some people have a justifiable excuse sometimes, but I have an internal circle of 20 people that I'm working with. I haven't added to it. I can tell you in less than 45 days, that team will be in excess of 200. And in less than 6 months, it'll be 2,000. That's the minimum it will be. By the end of the year, the team will be in excess of 10,000. It's a 10,000 army that's going to be standing by the end of 2024. And you heard it here. It started with 20 people. You know why? Because I've already done it before over and over again. And I'm a master at being able to do that. And I know how to do that. I had to fight myself to do it. But you can't win a war without an army. Otherwise, I'm going to be a Moses again. But the thing that I'm doing right now is grooming these 20 as I have over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm just getting started with understanding, too many people. It's funny how I have some stragglers that are 5-star generals. Some of them are on this call. I have some stragglers, what I call by stragglers. They're 5-star generals and they don't even know it yet because they're used to doing everything by themselves. So I have to massage them into the space of understanding how to galvanize where 3 or more are gathered, anything is possible, that it's easier to run with 3 than to drag 1,000, that you need to galvanize the power and put it together so that you're working as one family, one unit, that there is no surgical team that goes in, no matter how great the surgeon is, that doesn't have an amazing surgery team. There is no dentist that goes in and gives you a root canal without having an amazing team to go in with you. There is no attorney that goes in and wins the case without an amazing team that's doing research and bringing papers and running and getting R&D and getting facts and going. Is anybody following me on this yet? So if you're intending on winning outside of your husband, your wife, your children, and your income level that you have right now, some of you at 50,000 a year, some at 100, some at 500,000, some at 250,000, some of you got great stocks, some of you got great credit. You'll never get to the level that you want to live until you learn how to put together a squadron. You'll never get to a level that you want to get to until you put together a squadron. And so in that, I talked about the Zoom and the social media. I didn't forget about that. I didn't just jump off stride and forget about what I'm talking about. I had to yell at my team on more than one occasion, twice this week. If you're going to get on my call, make sure that your picture is up. Make sure that you're up. Make sure that you're live. You don't like the way you look, do something about the way you look before you come to the meeting. You don't know how to do your hair? Cut it off like I did. I don't care what the hell you got to do. Like Mr. Thomas, cut it off. You got a raggedy smile, go brush your teeth. There's probably some stuff still in it. Don't like where you live, change your address. Put a blur on it till you do it. See, when we talk on these Zooms, it's an extraordinary tool because it allows us to be able to move through time and space. It allows us to reach people all over the globe. It allows us to make millions of dollars in business on many fronts, on many occasions, in many different dimensions, in many different composites, in many different components, in many different ways. We are able to reach people faster, quicker. In fact, Zoom didn't even exist until the pandemic. Isn't that crazy? Think about that. Yeah, Skype and all that other stuff, but nothing really took place. Now it is user friendly and part of the protocol. Does that make sense? You guys with me on that so far? It's part of the protocol. But if you go out for an interview and you're going to get $100,000 job plus benefits, if you're going to actually do a VC, a venture capital deal, and you're going to get, and you're raising, $5 million for a project, if you're going to actually pitch a script and you want them to back your script with millions of dollars, if you want to go out there and get a loan and you're going to a bank And you're sitting up there saying, I want a loan against my property. I want to get some money out of my property. I want to get, I want a signature loan. I want a construction loan. I want whatever you get to get. The bank is not going to let you get the loan without seeing you and knowing who you are and doing an inspection on your house. It's not going to happen. The movie, company, whether it's Disney or Warner Brothers, is not going to give you money for pitching a movie behind your picture on a Zoom. You aren't going to be able to date somebody and keep somebody unless you're catfishing somebody, even on a dating app. If somebody can't see you and talk to you and know that you're real, why the hell would you come on to a multi-million-dollar platform as if you're a fake person? If I'm going to say, and I love, me and Mr. Bird say the same thing because I trained him on this and he duplicated. Um, I can't, please don't take it that I'm so trainer of Mr. Aaron Bird. I reference him because I have so much reverence for him. We just do a lot of things together. So I want to make sure that's very clear in this call. Is everybody with me? Just nod your head if you guys win on this. Okay. Um, but he was just like, I want you to imagine we're sitting down doing a one-on-one for whatever kind of business deal we got going on. And you turn your back to me while I'm talking to you, or you just got up in the middle of my conversation, or you're picking your teeth, or you just got up and you're just washing the dishes while I'm talking to you, or you're multitasking as most of you do behind the screen, because you don't have to take the responsibility to prep yourself for this call. You don't have to lead. It's easy to be a follower. It's easy to be weak. Yeah, I call it weak. It's a weak move to not be able to get on a screen and be live. Now, let me give some grace that some people are sick. Some people are multitasking with their kids. Some people are in between still working for the plantation of a job. Some people are sneaking on at the plantation of a job to be on the call. So yeah, there's some people that get grace. I had a couple of people give me a call and let me know, look, you know what, sir, I'm not feeling well, but I really want to get on the call. They get grace because there was communication. I want you to get the information. No problem. But that should really only be about 10% of the people that get on the call. There's something to this. I don't want you to think I'm just beating up people that don't get on the screen. There's a lot to this conversation that you need to get. The number one thing you need to get is duplication is the key to success. The one who has the fastest copy machine is going to make the most amount of money. And when you do it, if you are strong enough, if you take the notes on this call of what I'm going to give you, and you start to build a squadron and an internal team at your table, they're going to duplicate what you do. So if you're up with no picture up, they're going to get up with no picture up. If you're never building a team, it's very easy to act like an ostrich with your head in the ground so nobody can see you. Yes, we love your screen picture and your picture that you put up as yeah, that's all good. That's nice. So I give grace to the people that are multitasking. I give grace to people that aren't feeling well. I give grace to single mothers that have to raise their kids by themselves. I'm not saying everybody all the time, but if you're serious about this business, nobody's ever going to know who you are, and you aren't going to know anybody because you have not integrated yourself into the system of a system in which people can come in and know you, see you. Now, virtually, now personally, I'm able to see you. Michelle Thomas on a call at least 4 times a week, whether he's getting on a plane, his plane, or somebody else's plane, whether he's taking a train, whether he's in another country. I mean, he's always on here. I don't understand why that's not being duplicated. And then the next thing is to truly be in a position of participation. Please write that down. Participation. You must participate in your own rescue. You must participate in your own rescue. Don't look for somebody to save you when you aren't even working to save yourself. That's just asinine. Hoping that somebody's going to just pull up to your door and say, I'm here to save you. I'm sorry. I could have swore you were summoned through the spirit. That's just crackish. That's just crackish. When we're galvanizing to build something magical and we're putting together a team, and we're really putting together a team, one of the things you guys heard me talk about this is what has me re-engaged with what I'm doing here? Why am I so present here? One of my slogans, I said, if I had never done network marketing in my life, the second industry that I would have chose, if I had to choose a second industry, would have been the insurance industry. You have never heard of anybody in insurance being laid off. Every person that I have as a friend that's in insurance, one of my friends, which I'm going to take him up on, he's in the Dominican Republic. He sold his house for $8 million. He's just at knocking at the door 16. $8 million he sold his house for. He owns an amazing real estate portfolio. And he's one of my best friends. He hasn't known what to do with himself for the past 10 years. I've been working to bring him over here with me, but the problem is he's made so much money, he just wants to have fun. And he's like, B, I don't want to work no more, but I want to work, but I just don't want to work. So he sold his house. He bought this massive resort on acreages of land in Dominican Republic. Well, I need friends like that because now I can take my team to his resort and we're going to go there and have a training at his resort on acreages of land. I say this for a reason because we are now in a position of combining, I believe, the greatest ecosystem and community ever built in the industry of business. That is what ACN has provided. I would have not known anyone on this call. Well, I'm not going to say anyone, but the greater majority of the people on this call. And you would not have known me without the magic. I call it, the magic kingdom, like the Disney kingdom, like Disney World. Now, I've had my challenges. I think everybody has had their challenges. Anybody's been around as long as I have since 1995. You're going to see the highs, the lows, the good and the bad. But I can tell you from the depth of my soul, as God is my witness, if I was ever interviewed by God, what is the one thing that you love most about the business that you chose? And it's the people that I've met. There is no greater caliber and frequency than the people that I've met. It's extraordinary. The environment is stellar. It's beyond measure. There's no adjective for the environment that's created. That's why at my table with my 20 and on each of my calls this week, I had to premise each leader to let them know, don't talk about Dallas. Don't promote Dallas. Don't say it. Here's what I want you to talk about. I said, so why don't you always talk about Dallas? Because they all know at my table, if you aren't going to Dallas, you shouldn't even be on my freaking call. This isn't a conversation. My leaders don't need to be, I don't need to, that's a whole 20, 30, 40 minutes. I could be teaching my team other techniques, new nuances. So, what made you great? That's like putting on your socks and shoes and your underwear. That's like brushing your teeth. That's just mandatory. Why do you need to promote that? It should be common sense. I know common is no longer common anymore. Common sense is, I understand. Back to my old slogan, it's like my grandmother, baby, common sense and deodorant. They like cousins. What do you mean, Big Mama? The ones who need it most don't use it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Hopefully you guys got the message of the duplication and understanding, getting yourself out of the way and understanding the screen. And if you're going to get on these calls, then make yourself known. Raise your hand, not right now, but you need to make yourself, by raising your hand, people need to see you. They need to know you're real. They need to know that you believe in something, someone, or yourself. And the only reason a person doesn't is they don't believe in what we're doing, or they don't believe in themselves, or they don't believe in someone. Then you shouldn't be on the call. Go get more information. When you believe in something and you want to make something happen, you want to win, then come back and see us. Then I'll see you, you'll see me, and I'll go through, because I scroll through, whether I'm on my computer or on my phone, I look at everybody. I look to see all the time who's actually present, who's not present. I know if somebody's doing something, like I know what Bree is doing right now. He's barely getting connections. I know what Lance is doing. I know what Wendy is doing. I know my people. If they aren't present, I know why they aren't present. Because that's the relationship I have with the people that I deal with. And that's the respect that I demand. If you want my respect and you want me to come back and work with you, otherwise we don't work together. We have nothing to talk about. This is very important to the next level of the conversation before I close out in the next 10, 15 minutes. This is the foundation to galvanizing a team and putting together a squadron. The leaders I've been blessed with, I got to remember the conversation I had, even with my mom. I remember not too long ago, I'm going to say a few years back, well over 2, 3, 4, 5. But when I was under a decade, I used to say, I have to go get my mom. I got to take my mom to the store. I gotta take my mom to, and it's part of my book, which you guys will see coming out soon enough. First quarter of this year, January, latest February. And it's one of my chapters. I got to take my mom to the store. I got to take my mom to the hospital, to the doctor's appointment. I got to take my son over here. Many of us have this conversation. We got to do a lot of things. This was probably about 8, 9 years ago, and I finally had to change the narrative. And I get to go take my mom. I get to take my son. I'm blessed enough to be able to take my son, pick up my mom. I get to I get to go on a walk with my mom. I get to go cook for my mom. I get to help my mom. I get to help my son. I'm blessed enough. It's how I am with my team. If you're blessed enough to have a squadron and a team, I pride myself on having one of the best teams in the world, if not the best. And I'll tell you, it's not just because it's not about how much money they make you, how many customers, how much, but it's because they're diehards and understanding that we're sown in it, the spirit. It's a God thing. I can't even tell you they're all God appointments. I don't have any. The ones that are on God appointments aren't connected to me. They're connected somewhere else. They come and they go. They're seasonal. They're like leaves. They come and go. But my branches and my roots could literally, many on this call could literally bring me to tears because it's the way we roll. It's how we live. It's what we do. Find you if you're blessed enough to get 2 or 3 that I've been so blessed to have. Not that I'm that great. I work to serve that great. Just find that great. And galvanizing your team. I was listening to Michelle Thomas. It's like how many PBRs and Zoomans and this and the other. Let's talk about leadership for a quick second for this last part of the call of galvanizing a team. You can wait for Zoom calls and invite people. That's what 90% of the population does. There's only 2 ways you're ever going to make money building a business, not just this business. See, people have a phobia with the word recruiting. You got to understand, if you have a boyfriend, if you have a girlfriend, you recruited. If you have a husband or wife, you recruited. If you ever really want to make the money that professional ball players do, they recruit. The baseball, they recruit. The NHL, they recruit. The NBA, they recruit. The NFL, they recruit. Colleges recruit. The graduate schools, they recruit. The high end Harvard, they recruit. Yale, they recruit. If you're at the top hospitals, Hope, or if you're, I could go down a list of them, they recruit. There's not one entity or institute of greatness that does not master the art of Alabama football. They recruit. They've got the winter champions this year. I mean, it does not matter what you do. Seniors home, they recruit. It doesn't matter. You want to make significant. I'm not going to talk about dollars and cents, but a significant income. You want to make life-changing money. You want to create generational wealth. You better bite the pill and embrace recruiting. There's only two ways you live on this freaking planet. Either you learn to recruit or you get recruited. And if you get recruited, you better not end up a pawn in somebody's game. And the thing is, nobody chooses for you to be a pawn. You choose for yourself how you show up. Everybody shows up at the bottom. I showed up as a pawn, but I showed up as a pawn knowing I was a king. I showed up as a pawn because I had to start somewhere, knowing that I was a king. There's not one person who has ever met me in this day in life or the life before that has not expected. When I was an ETL, people thought I was an RD. They thought I was a TC and RVP. When I was an RVP, they thought I was an SVP. As an SVP, there's not one person who questions that if I play in the game, that I'll be the fastest and strongest platinum SVP in the game. It's expected of a king. It's expected of a queen. Not I'm trying to, I'm hoping to, I'm going to do my best. It sounds good. One day, year after year, I'm going to get there. I'm coming. Hell to the no. Success is a freaking attitude. It's a freaking attitude. I don't play any game. God, if I could just be so transparent in this call over the last week. I don't play any game that I will not figure out how to win. I figure out every game on how to win. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. I will be transparent on this. I get my behind beat almost to the point so some people might think I'm a masochist. It's like, oh my God, you did what? You did it again and again and again. Yeah, I'm a dog with a bone in his mouth. I don't know. I know some would even call it stupid. I know there's no way in hell or heaven, God, because he's listening to me, he hears me, he knows my moves. There's no way 99% of people would put themselves through what I put myself through. I already know that. But I can also tell you, there's no way anybody's going to win the way I'm going to win unless they do. I know Mr. Al Thomas has, and so many others. When you're putting together a team and you're galvanizing in this last 12 minutes, there's only two ways you're going to rise from the ashes of where you are to where you believe that you belong. That you believe that you belong, right? So if that's the case, you're going to have to master the art of multiplication. You're going to have to master the art of learning how to present your business through doing, I would put myself through, this is just what I would do. I don't know if you guys push the reset or what you've done. I would put myself through a 90-day rigorous training on getting myself out of the way with 1, 2, or 3 modalities, with 1, 2, or 3 great leaders to present for me and put a time limit on interchangeably doing presentations myself. Now, I slow grow. I call it a slow grow, right? And it's kind of like my cooking. I like to marinate it. I just marinate everything for a foundation of what you need to do in the beginning. So if you aren't prepared to do it, then you might miss this part of the conversation. But in the first part of it, I said you have to believe in someone, something, and or some yourself. Those are the 3 things. I totally believe in this healthcare program. What I've heard and what I've seen is freaking ridiculous. And the testimonials on it, what it has to offer, take network marketing out of the equation, take HCN out of the equation, and the impact product is freaking ridiculously awesome. And if you haven't gotten it yourself or went and studied it, and the simplicity of just putting it into a queue, 2 people in the family, 1 person in the family, this, and this, 3, 4 questions, and then they do all the work for you and spit out a quote and will show you how it beats Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and everything else that you have out there. It's freaking ridiculous. You have to do no work, 0 work, but make 5 push buttons on a computer and ask somebody what they currently have. That's ridiculous by itself, right? That you become the insurance company and get paid a 90-10 split on all of everything, and the profits on this thing are freaking off the chain. If you haven't studied this, I mean, I've only heard it 3 or 4 times to make myself president to everything, and I'm jacked out of my freaking mind. It's a product that I don't care if, thank you, D. I don't care if you aren't, if you're in another country, you need to learn how to target market. I would be in Africa pulling people out of New York, Chicago, and LA. I don't care. I would be blowing this thing up because I promise you, I'm not just saying this. You give me a product that I don't have in my country, I'm already doing it. I'm doing it from Africa as well as I'm doing it from Colombia. With my distribution and importing, I'm already finding what they don't have and bringing it there, and what we don't have and bringing it here. Why? Because to people that think small, the world is big, and to people that think big, the world is small. This is what we're talking about. This is a multi-million-dollar life-changing event for you and your family to get flat out residual income on a lifetime program that will get everybody covered in something that everyone has. And you're trying to figure out where your next meal is coming from, and you got the best thing since Wonder Bread at your fingertips. Then you need to figure out who you're going to work with to blow this up and be able to do, here we go, galvanizing a team. 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, 4-on-1s, multiplication, multiplication, multiplication. If you don't have the interpersonal skills to galvanize double digits of 10 people at a time, then you better get good at 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 4-on-1. If you open up a restaurant and only 5 people come to your restaurant for the week, your restaurant just went bankrupt. If you're selling a car and only 5 people saw your car for the week, you just went bankrupt. If you're trying to sell a house and only 5, 10, 15, well, I've been trying to sell my house. I had about 12 people look at my house this month. Well, so that's about 3 people a week. You crackhead. It's an open house. You better get great at being able to create an open house for your business. The hardest thing about this business is just getting somebody to see it. And if you're worried about somebody seeing it and what they're going to say to you and what their belief system are, then you don't believe in yourself, or you don't believe in the product, or you don't believe in the persons that you're working with. Quit. That's why they won't let me on stage, because I'll have half the company quit before the national is over. I'll be like, hey, quit. Stop wasting your time. Don't waste mine. I don't need no rah-rah. I don't need no smoke. I don't need you to get me hyped about, yeah, oh, yes, new product. Oh, more money. Oh, everybody's here. Oh, go to a club. At some point in your life, you got to get tired of clapping for somebody else. I'm going to say it again. You might want to write that down and put it in your notes. You can say it's called a Byronism. It's a permanent piece. At some point in your life, you got to get tired of clapping for somebody else. Don't you believe you, your husband or wife, your children, let's just start with you, deserve more than you currently have? You're never too old or too young. If God got you up today, give him your all. Give him your all. I tell you, I get up, fight, fighting. The last piece of this, if you're going to run this and build anything, you better learn how to do your own Zooms. You should have a weekly Zoom with 5 to 10, no more than 10, no less than 5. I'm going to say that again. If you want to build a dynasty, you need to put in the work 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 days out the week. Do you understand this is only a 10-hour-a-week business to make more than most people make? You can make more. I'm not BSing you guys. I've already done it. I can't talk about money and denominations because I don't know, the system's screwed up. But I can tell you that you can honestly put in 10 hours of work. I'm talking about work. I didn't say activity. So if you're taking notes, you better write down work. You can put in 10 hours of work here. Real freaking work. Own it. God forbid you put in 20. Let's start with 10. If you put in just work, not activity, not making a list, not watching videos, not reading, not understanding the information, not living inside your head, not overthinking, not give me some more information, not I need to have another conversation, not I was on somebody else's training, not another call, not another meeting, not another. If you put in 10 hours of freaking work for 1 year every week, you will make more money in 1 month than most people make in a year on this planet. I'm going to say that again. And it's no matter how freaking simple I make this, people lose because they can't go a year. They're used to the system, but you'll put in 40, 50, 60 hours for somebody who don't give a damn about you. And you got somebody like an Al Thomas, like myself, and like some other leaders that are like begging to work with you, dying to work with somebody who has a work ethic, has integrity, will go out of their way, that wants to change their address, that wants to change their family tree, that wants to change their bank account, that wants to change themselves, that wants to lose weight, that wants to be healthy, that wants to be spiritually aligned, that wants to travel the world, that wants to wake up when they finish sleeping, that wants to live the most amazing, ridiculous life, that wants to live on the lips of your children's children. Yes, that's who I am. I want to live with the people I work with. I want to live on the lips of their children's children. Look, you may not know this tall, bald black man named 6'4", but you're gonna know him for the rest of your life. Let me tell him what he did for mom and dad. In fact, we put a picture up. I want to do so much for the people I love. I want a picture with the family up on the portrait. I want it on their freaking wall. That's how much I want to work for the people that are down with me. That the kids start looking like, I thought we had a Latin family. Who's the black man? Funny you should ask. That's who the hell I am. That's what I work for every day when I wake up. That I'm part of the household name. I'm the pictures up with the family. Give me 1 year, 2 years to work with somebody, and for the rest of their lifetime and the next, for you become a household name. You need to be doing your own Zoom. You need to have a standing weekly Zoom. Yeah, you can plug in everything else. Get your stuff out of the way. Work with a leader. I'm going through right now. Here's the last piece. I got 2 minutes. The ones that I'm working with that I know that are living in the river of reciprocity, I'm putting together recordings for. That way it saves me time. If they put in the work, That means hypothetically, and just give you an example, right? If I go through and I'm like working with, let's just say Dwayne, right? Or if I'm working with Miguel, it's going to give you an example. I don't want Miguel blowing up my phone. Are you available to talk to this person? Are you available to talk to that person? Now you're going to hear other leaders say, blow up your leader's phone. I'm going to tell you right now, you blow up my phone, you better have some documentation behind you. That's anybody. You better have some results behind you. I don't, otherwise my phone number will change. But I will set up a call as a leader and say, hi. It's just real simple. I could do it on WhatsApp. I could do it right now. This is Dr. Byron Nelson, Senior Vice President with a company called ACN. And before you even raise your eyebrow, whether you heard of it or you haven't heard of it, I need you to listen for the next 30 seconds. If there is a way that you and I can collaborate on an industry that you're already aligned with to be able to put an extra 5 or 6 figures a year into your bank account, would it get your attention to know that you can do that on 10 hours a week? If I could set you up for perpetual residual income, if I can match what you're currently making right now, let's just say you're 40, you're 50 or 60, and I can do that in under 12 months and match your current income. And you could walk away potentially within the next 3 years and that money continue to hit your bank account. Is it worth a 5-minute conversation with me? Because the only way that I'll have a conversation with you is on referral. I'm too busy. I have multitude of businesses going on, from real estate, diversified, just like Mr. Al Thomas, to you name it. I have commodities, I have stocks, I have crypto, I have real estate, I have hard money, I have several different businesses. But I'm willing to take 5 minutes because Miguel told me that you're freaking amazing and that you're worth 5 minutes of conversation to see if we're aligned and can collaborate and do business. And if that works, please let him know what's the best time we can have 3 to 5 minutes. I know neither you or I have more than 3 to 5 minutes. I know I don't, but I know it's worth it if we had one conversation, what we could do together. Now, once that conversation has been done and I recorded it, and Miguel, who's on this call, will go out, he'll play that call for 10 people a day. It costs 60 seconds, 60 freaking seconds to play that call for 10 people a day. That's 50 people a week. That's 200 people a month. You're telling me in today's landscape, in today's economy, the way people are hurting, the way the economic landscape is shifting, shaping, and sliding, with all that is happening, that out of 200 people in 1 month, you can't find 20 people that will jump all over this? And God forbid he follow my target marketing of who I'm going to tell him to go listen to this. God forbid he follows the recipe and the blueprint that I give him as a GPS. And then at the end of the week of 50, he has 10 people on a Zoom call just for himself. Now I'm able to empower him and he's able to empower me. And it's not him with 200 or 50 or 60 or 70 or 500 people on a call like, oh, yes, ooh, oh, okay, mute everybody. Okay, this is what we're doing. And they get the cast, they get the regular conversation like, oh, it's one of those things. Now he's got 5, 10, 15 people on the call. I'm able to say, I just want to thank you for the time of taking to get on here. I am just honored and humbled that you would take the time, because I know you don't have the time and how valuable your time is. But what Miguel has told me about you, he's able to hit me back with 8 people, 9 people. Here's their background. I'm able to say, hey, Mr. Walker, it's a pleasure to meet you. It's my understanding you're a teacher. Hey, you know what, Mr. Harrison, it's an honor to meet you. It's my understanding that, you're dealing with kids a lot. And I deal with a lot of kids. In fact, I started in the school industry. My father was part of Brown versus Education. It's called relationship marketing. It means to relate. Now I'm able to empower and talk into the listening of the people on the call. I'm able to build up their ego, speak into their ego, pour into them. What is the greatest sound of anybody? To anybody, it's the sound of their own name. I'm able to go through and say, "Hey, Sherry, hey, Kush, this is what we got going on," and they're like, "Oh my God, he knows who I am." Yeah, what you think? He just got me on with somebody random, and I'm able to go back and I'm able to edify, not at a lie, edify, and say, "Miguel, I'm so honored to work with you. I don't know how you know him or how blessed you are to know him. You may be real close to him, but let me tell you what you probably don't know about him in regards to his dreams and how this call came about. The only way I took this call was on referral. And I told him to get the most amazing freaking people he knew on a call with me. And I'll be honest with you, that is why, Jackie, we're on the call. That's why, we're on the call, Mr. Dix. I heard so much about you that I had to have a conversation with you. And so I don't know if what I have to share is going to be of appeal to you, but it set me up for generational wealth and put me in a position where I was able to retire my parents early and set me up to be able to take care of my son who's had private education at the highest frequency. It set me up to be able to live a life that most people don't understand as just a sidebar. I got into it as a sidebar, but it became a full bar in gold. I don't know. Y'all might need to go listen to this training over. I don't know. I don't know. I'm done. I'm complete, Mr. Thomas. Happy Friday.